What's up, everybody? What's up? What's up?
Is that how you start YouTube videos?
What's up, everybody? I welcome all of you back to my YouTube channel and to yet another episode on this playlist. My name is Siddhant Rai, and before anything else, since this is my first video this year, I want to wish all of you a very happy and prosperous new year. Now, if you've been following my work, you already know what all these episodes are about. But if you are new here, I want to let you know that I'm using this playlist called Alchemy in order to deconstruct and explain the process which I went through, which has helped me a lot in gaining clarity about my life and understanding what I like to call my personal calling. So yep, let's begin. In the previous video, I told you about the art of listening to your soul, and we spoke a little bit about the journey of deliberate self-improvement in order to develop a strong character. In this video, we are gonna discuss in detail what that journey is. The end of this video is gonna be very simple. I will suggest you to make a few changes in your life and adopt 3 new habits if you aren't already doing it: reading, meditating, and exercising regularly. Before we begin, I want to tell you something. I've spent a great deal of time and effort working on these videos, and I've finally come up with a framework which I think is worth sharing with y'all. Now, it's very tricky and I really need you to give me your attention. If you listen carefully to what I have to say, I promise you this has the potential to change your life. Now, one of my mentors taught me the importance of talking about things which matter to people who care. And I know that there are people who care. You know who you all are. And I just want to take a moment to let you know that I appreciate you and I'm doing all of this for people like you. Now let's dive into the meaty portion of this video. The world that we as a species have created is extremely fast-paced. Our minds are always full with notifications, with emails, the news, and most of us hardly take the time out to slow down, create some personal space, observe what is going on, and think deeply. I want to urge you to create a zone for yourself for the duration of this video and ponder upon the train of thoughts that pass your mind as we move through this. If you really slowed down, observed the world we live in, and thought of things deeply, this is what is actually going on. There are 7.7 billion human beings on planet Earth, and you are one of them and I am one of them. And this planet Earth is revolving around a literal ball of fire, which we call the sun. And there is a rock suspended in space. It's just floating in space, and there's the Earth. And this moon revolves around the Earth, and this controls the seas, the oceans. Now, all of these are not very difficult to know. All we need to do is look up on a clear night and we'll see the marvels of this universe. Along with the moon, there are thousands and thousands of stars, millions of miles away. And we share this planet Earth with other plants and animals. And because we have this human mind, we have become the most advanced species on the planet. Now, here is how I understand the human life. There is a piece of divinity inside each and every single one of us. Now, what I mean by this is, we human beings often forget that we are a part of nature, a part of the universe which has given birth to all the stars, the sun, the moon, the plants, the animals, and everything marvelous that we get to see on a day-to-day basis. And we've been touched by the same force which grows everyone's nails and beats everyone's hearts. A rose bush is meant to give birth to roses. An avocado seed is meant to grow into an avocado tree. Now, most people never realize this, but there is a meant to beism inside each and every single one of us. And it is our duty to recognize and nurture this part of us which is divine. Now, people who have been able to do this, people who have been able to recognize this piece of divinity inside of themselves and nurture it and make a living out of it, they've given it various names. They call it their personal calling, their dharma, life's purpose, whatever. The name doesn't matter. It's the context that matters. Justin Bieber was meant to be a music artist. There's no denying. David Beckham, a footballer. Kobe Bryant knew that he was put on this planet to play basketball. And Robin Sharma, people like Robin Sharma, he knows that his gift is his creative side, and he has done an incredible job in accessing his creative side in order to uplift humanity in his own unique way. Now, what I know for sure is a person is the happiest when he is living his life in alignment with his true gifts and talents, his personal calling. But the sad reality is we have to make money in order to survive. But the truth is, in this day and age, we can make money doing whatever we want to if we are good at it. But the society is full of people who advise the younger generation to look for security and to play it safe. And this, most of the times, is because they are advising the younger generation from what they know, which is most of the times an outdated paradigm. So in most cases, the older generation does not allow the younger generation, and by the younger generation at this point in time, I mean me and people my age, the older generation does not allow us to do the things which we like enough to get good at it. And this leads to people, a lot of people, being mediocre at what they do not like, and ultimately they end up living lives which are unfulfilling. This is why I feel like the society is broken, and with all due respect to all the teachers and the parents and the relatives who want the younger generation to play it safe and look for security, I want to call bullshit on this. Now, hear me out. We've discussed the concept of the empty vessel, the idea that every single human mind, yours, mine, Kobe Bryant's, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, everyone's mind is empty at the time of birth. And if you haven't watched that video yet, I suggest you to go and watch it, because this video and every other video on this playlist is predicated on that single idea. Whatever we know, we've learned, and it's important to note that we've learned from sources we didn't choose. Our knowledge by default has been a product of circumstance. Anything anyone knows, they've learned, which means that we can learn them as well. What I want isn't much different from what you want or what other humans want as well. At the deepest level, what all of us want is abundance. Not just an abundance of wealth, but also an abundance of health and relationships. Now, the thing is, we live in an abundant universe, and it has enough resources for each and every single one of us. People like Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, and Richard Branson, they've understood this truth, and they've been living abundant lives for years and years. Now, the problem is, a lot of us have limiting beliefs around this whole subject of abundance, because of the conditioning that we've had as children. And we need to get rid of it. Now, the good thing is, we can get rid of these conditionings and learn how to live abundant lives. This is why I'm going to suggest you to start reading books, which is one of the 3 vital parts of the self-improvement journey. So yep, let's start discussing what this deliberate self-improvement journey is. Now, firstly, what is it? What is this deliberate self-improvement journey? Now, in the simplest of terms, it is a conscious decision to uplevel your holy trinity, working on your mind, your body, and your spirit, so that you wake up every single day with an intention of getting better, and you go to sleep as a person who is a little bit more capable than the person you woke up as, and do it consistently over a long period of time. Working on your mind means feeding it with the right type of information so that you come to know about the things which are valuable but you didn't know them earlier. Now, this is important because once you know new things, you become capable of doing new things. It's really that simple. Now, you can do this by reading books, consuming podcasts, consuming audiobooks, by watching videos. There are multiple ways to do this. Now, working on your body is simply about getting a little bit more fit each passing week by taking care of your sleep, your nutrition, and exercising regularly so that you get to enjoy vibrant health. Now, this also serves as a very powerful and a potent tool in developing a strong character. Working on your soul means, for simplicity's sake, to raise the vibrations of your soul in order to understand the concept of God and find your own truth. Now, this is the part of the self-improvement journey which is highly esoteric, and this is unique for each and every single one of us. But this is also the same part of the self-improvement journey which will help us in understanding our life's purpose. That is simply what the deliberate self-improvement journey is. A conscious decision to work on your holy trinity, the mind, the body, and the soul. Now, the reason why it is important for us to work on the mind, the body, and the soul all at once is because these three are highly interdependent. You might have experienced it for yourself. You feel more energized, more refreshed, and you have the will to be more productive right after you get in a workout session. The mind functions better when you have a better body, and the body can function at its peak potential when you have peace of mind. Now, I've told you about what the deliberate self-improvement journey is, and it looks like a task, doesn't it? Reading, meditating, having a regular exercise. But the question is, why should you bother doing it? That is a very good question. Now, the reason why you should bother doing this is because, as I mentioned earlier, all of us can learn how to live our lives in a way where we get to experience an abundance of health, wealth, and relationships. Now, when I say an abundance of relationships, I'm not talking about having multiple partners. I'm talking about attracting real, genuine love, not only from your romantic partners, but also from your friends and family, and keeping it. The thing is really plain and simple. We are told to go and get our education from schools and colleges and other institutions, and most of us follow these advices blindly without ever questioning if there is a better way to learn how to live an abundant life. Now, I want you to keep an open mind and try and entertain this question. Just entertain this question. You do not have to come to a conclusion yet. What if most people who teach in these institutions do it in order to make a living, and they themselves do not know how to live abundant lives? Just think about it. What if this is the case? And I must tell you, this is the case. Really, this is the case. Now, the thing is, most people who teach in these institutions do it in order to make a living, and they do not know how to live abundant lives, because if they knew how to do it, they would be doing it. Now, the tragedy in the present society is, this is how the life of an average person unfolds. At about the age of 3, you're sent to school, and you're meant to study there for like 12, 13, 14 years, and for the next 4, 5, 6 years, you're sent to colleges, and then you are educated, and you hopefully land a job, and that's it. Your education phase is over. Now, I'm not talking about the whole entire population of the world, but I'm definitely talking about the average person's life. And see what the average person's life is comprised of. He starts at this empty vessel, and somewhere in the future, let's say after his college graduation, his mind is filled with information, and in most cases, not all cases, in most cases, this mind post-graduation has the belief that his education phase is over. So most people don't bother to educate themselves and focus on learning after college, because then they are enabled to get a job, and yeah, that's it. But then see what is happening. As I mentioned earlier, see grilled chicken for what it is. It is a dead bird. Now see what is happening. You knew nothing at one point in time, and somewhere in the future, you feel like you're educated because someone else tells you that having a college degree is getting educated. See, I'm not against college education. Please try to grasp this. I really want you to grasp this. But then here, if your mind doesn't have the information which allows you to live an abundant life, and you move through your entire life with that knowledge base, you won't ever get to experience an abundant life. And people like Tony Robbins, as I mentioned earlier, people like Tony Robbins, Oprah Winfrey, Richard Branson, they've learned how to do it, which means the information is available somewhere in the world. Somewhere in the world, it is available. Just look at the people who are living abundant lives. There are so many people who started from scratch, but they knew nothing at one point in time, and so did you and I, which means that all of us can learn how to live abundant lives. So yep, it is important for us to educate ourselves. Now, entertain these questions as well. What if there is a better way to learn than going to these institutions? What if there are more important things which we can learn about which will help us to live more fulfilling lives? And what if there is a short way of learning how to live an abundant life? I must tell you, there is a better way to learn than going to these institutions. There are more important things that we can learn about in order to live an abundant life, and there is a short way in order to learn how to attract abundance into our lives. But they do not teach us these in institutions, and I too cannot teach you this because I've learned from so many sources that I've forgotten. I don't know, I don't have a proper roadmap. That is the reason why it is very important for us to take our education. And by education, I simply mean what you know in your mind, what your knowledge base comprises of. It is important for us, each and every single one of us. I genuinely hope that after this video, you think deeply and realize that no one but you are in charge of your own life, because you are in charge of your knowledge base. It's important for us to start educating ourselves. If you are serious about your life, please think about these things. If you are interested in hearing more about this, I will deconstruct and explain the importance of up-leveling your mind in a very simple way in the next video on this playlist. But before I end this video, I want to urge you to be open to the idea of making a few changes in your life and adopting a few new habits. I promise you, these are very powerful and potent tools, and I really hope that you try them. Now, that is it for this video, guys. Oh, also, I want to let you know upfront that if you do not have the habit of doing any of these, if you do not have the habit of reading, of exercising, of meditating, they will feel difficult at first, but that is only because they are unfamiliar. Anything unfamiliar will at first seem difficult. Thank you so much for watching until the end, guys. With this video, I had only one goal in mind. I wanted to let you know the importance of the self-improvement journey. In one of my upcoming videos, I will explain in detail how we, all of us, can walk this path of deliberate self-improvement and at the same time use it to up-level our character and end up with a very strong character. Thank you so much, guys. Any feedback will be highly appreciated. I'll see you when I see you. Peace out.